Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. I'm your host, Colleen Witt, and today we have entrepreneur and inventor, Miss Shantel Jackson's in the building, also known as Miss Jackson. That's how we call you Miss Jackson, and then we go, Miss Shantel Jackson, yes.
Oh, Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
Yes.
Yeah. Either way, you know what? The Miss Jackson is, of course, Jackson is my last name, but ever since Outkast came out with that song, I think I was like 14, 15, and in school, even the teachers were in on it. Like it was roll call during like the announcements or throughout the day. And when my name was called, everybody would go, ooh. And I'm just like, it's just like a part of, I don't know, who I am. I don't know. It's always been hilarious to me, but I am Miss Jackson, so.
Yeah, and it's good. It like kind of started you with a brand before you.
I think it did. It was just, I can't help that is my last name, but it just came with something and it just pivoted me into Miss Jackson.
Miss Jackson. Well, what do you have us eating, Miss Jackson?
So I have some good old fashioned, I guess you would say some country Bama pickled eggs. And it's pretty much nothing but vinegar, some spices, some red dye, and some eggs.
I've never ever seen this. So when you mentioned pickled eggs, I didn't know if you had like a sandwich bag. Wait, I didn't know what's it. But she said pickled eggs. I said, what?
Yeah, so it already comes like this, and when I was little, we used to go to the corner store or the candy lady's house, if we lived in apartments at the time, and asked for a pickle egg, and maybe at the time it was maybe 20 cents or a quarter, and yep.
Where are you from?
Miami.
Oh, you're from Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and they were selling pickled eggs in Miami?
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you get these out here?
You can't get these out here. I ordered these online to be here.
Oh, wow.
So
you're a real pickled eggs fan.
I am.
I can't even say the last time you ate this was you was broke. You just attached to the pickled eggs.
I'm attached at the hip to the pickled eggs. Honestly, it would even get worse than this back home, but now I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
So I'm still safe with the eggs, the pickled eggs. But I used to eat the hot sausage with the pork or the pickled pig feet. Like, yeah, it was bad.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's try these. Can we
Okay.
try these? Are we clear before we, Yeah, okay, good. Let's try some pickled eggs. Now, I've never had pickled eggs before, guys. So if my face does all these, like, expressions, don't mind me because I'm, like, an expression girl. Like, I have a million wrinkles dedicated to me before I hit 40. I wrinkle my face so much. But let's try these. And thank you for sharing this, like, delicate, what is it? Like a
This is like a southern delicacy, if I'm saying that right. It
delicacy.
is.
That's the word I was looking for because we couldn't even get these. She came with these. That's how you know it's real. She had another dish and she said, you know what?
I've never seen this in California, ever.
And how often do you order these?
You know what? A lot of the time, I always have to wait till I go home to Miami to get them. So this past week, I was there for my birthday, and as soon as I touched down off the plane, and went to the gas station, they had pickled eggs. So I was getting pickled eggs.
This is interesting. So the pickled eggs are red. For all y'all listeners, it's like in this jar of juice. So how do you get it out? You use a fork?
Yep, get your fork.
We got a fork. So if you don't have pickled eggs, do you just naturally like eggs, or is it just the whole flavor package?
I do naturally like eggs, but the pickled egg is just something just totally different. Or you can use your spoon.
Oh yeah, that's probably smarter.
But
you can smell it.
Do you like vinegar? Are you a vinegar person?
I mean, I don't know. I'm a Jew and a Jamaican. I think I like everything from. I'm trying to think of a Jewish food that I like.
I think you might like this.
Not that many.
I think you might like this.
Okay. So should I try to break it or do I just bite it?
You just pick it up and bite it.
Here we go.
Yep.
Don't mind the faces, everybody. Here, like, cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go. Oh, it's hard. I thought it was going to be soft. It's not that bad. I was expecting softness. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be soft.
From it fermenting in this juice.
And, like, cooked it?
It cooks it like that. Well, one, they boil them first. But then, still with a boiled egg, it's still soft. But the juice gets it to this.
I'm not going to lie, Miss Jackson. This is this is an acquired taste. I mean, you had to have been broke to be eating these. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm going to make our crew try it because sometimes we have stuff on this show where I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to get in here. Shout out to Jared. Jared, you ready to try this? No? Okay. Yeah. This is an acquired taste. I'm sorry. I give you kudos for this. I give you... Miss Jackson, I give you kudos for this because this is a once-in-a-lifetime, one and done for me, yeah.
Are you're from?
I'm from New York.
You're from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, I don't even think it's definitely not a New York thing. You don't see pickled eggs
it's so
up there.
different, everybody. Like, you guys got to just try this one time. It's definitely like if you like vinegar.
Mm-hmm. I'm a vinegar person. I love vinegar.
Yeah, we just had a guest on that likes vinegar too. She's like, I put vinegar on everything. She would have loved this. You and her could have had a vinegar
fest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what was going on at the time when you were eating pickled eggs? I'm gonna eat the whole egg, by the way.
You got to. It's still protein.
Yeah, it's never again. This is one and done. This is one and done. But what was going on when you were eating pickled egg yolks?
I mean, when I was younger, I love to eat this just in general, but to continue to eat it, it's a taste for me. It's nostalgic for me. It's what I grew up eating. Walking to the corner store, that was even a thing. Being young, walking to the corner store, or even before school started, we walked to the corner store, got chips and hot sausage or pickled egg.
But you saw like candy, now laters, chips, the little Twinkies in the packages. You said, "Oh, those eggs are calling my name."
I need a pickled egg.
Oh,
I needed a pickled egg. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the whole world learned something very new about you. I don't think anyone would ever say, "Okay, Miss Jackson, she's kicking back some pickled
eggs." Yeah, people will probably look at me and think, "Yeah, she's not eating that."
No, when I look at you, I'm like, okay, she's fit. You know, you're physically beautiful, so she's probably eating all these. I have no idea, maybe sushi or something. Then you show up with pickled eggs as like a favorite thing that you're ordering through the mail.
I don't know. I'm like proud. It's like where I come from. It's like part of when people look at me, they just pretty face and maybe nothing really behind it. But it is a lot more to that. It's not just a pretty face. But a lot of people don't know how I grew up either. I mean, at 7, 8, 9 years old, I was getting in the house before my mom, making sure my siblings were doing their homework or bathed before she got home. And she worked a job, and then she did night school as well.
Wow. Was she a single parent
or? Single parent. My father, I think, was in prison till I was about 10 or 11 years old.
Okay.
But yep, single parent, getting home late, having to cook for us sometimes. And then even with that, I felt bad that my mom had to come home and cook for us. So I started cooking at a young age, just simple things. Or I would see her making like simple meals like the beans and the rice and I can make that. Yeah. So trying to cook these certain things before she even got home made me feel good that she didn't have to do this extra stuff because she's busting her ass all day and then night to provide a better life for us.
Wow. Were you the oldest of your siblings?
Yeah, that were living in the household.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was me, and then I had 2 younger sisters, and then 2 cousins living with us at the time. So.
Wow. That's cool that you looked out for your mom like that, though. That's really cool.
I feel like it made me, it helped shape me into who I am today, just with loving my family, loving where I came from, loving how she raised me, or looking out for my siblings, just how I had to, or just wanted to, because I didn't have to, mind you. But it's like when you have family and you love and you look at your family a certain way, like you want to look out for them. You want them to be good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I understand that. So where did like entrepreneurship hit your, like when did it hit your radar?
You know what? Entrepreneurship, it just came naturally. So when I was younger, just in general, I love the glitz and the glam of being an actress or Hollywood, movies, modeling. So I went to a television production high school. So I learned like a lot of the behind the scenes of filming or writing scripts and things like that. And I also like went to like a little modeling school when I was younger. But along with those things, I was always obsessed with clothes or high heels.
Your shoe collection's crazy.
It's like I call it a good bad habit, if that makes sense. So ever since I could remember, I was wearing high heels, or my mom would let me wear high heels since I was like 14, 15. I've been wearing high heels.
Now, were you one of those girls that were like the only one in the school wearing heels, or was everybody wearing heels in your school? 'Cause you went to Miami, right? So
yeah, but I think around my generation, they were still into those sneakers. Like I would wear the sneakers and stuff like that, but I would still like want to rock my little platforms and like be a little different and stuff. But I always been like that.
With your shoes.
With my shoes. Like, I'm trying to remember.
So were you doing like entrepreneurial type stuff in high school or?
Yeah. So in high school, I started in middle school, then high school. I was selling chips, and juice, honey buns, candy. So I would go to school with a big bag, like a mini duffel bag, and I would freeze the juices at night before I went to school, take them out, and then in the morning people would be getting their juices and their honey buns from me or throughout class. And sometimes I would get in trouble because people would be knocking on my door or like homeroom, like, Miss Jackson in here? And the teacher would be like, if you don't get out of here. But like coming to get chips or candy or juice. So yeah, you just made me realize that was like the start of my entrepreneurial.
And what were you using the money for?
For school stuff. My mom pretty much had to provide for me and my sisters, my 2 cousins, and it was things that I wanted that she really didn't have the money to get me. So if I wanted to go on a field trip or get extra things for school, I was making this money with selling this stuff in school to provide myself with what I wanted, pretty much. Like even for prom or high school events and stuff like that, the money didn't have to come out of her pocket. So, and it made me feel good that I was making my own money to buy the stuff that I wanted at the end of the day.
Yeah. Now, when I was growing up in school, we were definitely poor. We didn't ask our parents for anything. But if you were poor in my school, you got made fun of. They was like, scrub, especially when TLC dropped the no scrubs.
Oh, yeah.
We got made fun of bad if we didn't have like the cool kicks and all that stuff. So did you have to experience that, or were you making enough money to like be like, here's my one pair of good shoes to rock? Or
You know what? I didn't really experience that, and I feel like, in a sense, like kids maybe picked on kids that they knew that they could pick on, because I didn't have the best of things, but I didn't have the worst of things either. I still had like my little things here and there. My father, when he did get out of prison, was able to, help out some and stuff like that. So I had a pair of Nikes or some Pumas or some, I think when I was younger, some Sauconys, if I'm not mistaken. But that still, I still didn't have everything I wanted. Like kids were rocking Pepel or Fubu or Sean John, things like that, and I definitely couldn't afford that.
Okay.
So, I mean, off-label clothes, no-label clothes. When I got to high school, I did wear uniforms though. So that did make it easier, because you have your uniform and then you just wore your plain pants or something like that.
Yeah. So I watch your social media. I'm a fan of yours, and we have some mutual friends, so we get to cross over a little bit.
Right.
But I'm a fan of yours. You're definitely, we've already touched on, you're externally beautiful. You're hilarious online. You definitely,
I do a little bit.
You definitely have your. I feel like your funny side is definitely showcased on your social media. But when I see, what caught my attention was you have the shoe gummies. And I know this process wasn't your typical, like when you see, celebrities, they'll do like endorsement deals or like they'll kind of, I'm not negating anybody's work or anything, but it's more of a sign on. But in your case, you invented something to help aid your shoe, your shoe collection, I'd say?
Yeah, pretty much my shoe collection.
What was the process like did you find a problem and then realize there was no solution and then you went to invention mode?
Yeah, pretty much. So honestly, just with having my own obsession with high heels, wearing them day in and day out, I was already on the search for finding something that would help them be more comfortable. And everything at the time, I think maybe there were some foot creams, which absolutely don't do anything, or inserts, the shoe inserts for the ball of the foot. And those did absolutely nothing to me. So I just particularly had my aha moment one day and just thought, well, if things go in the shoe and they don't do anything, or if they do go in the shoe, they can make the shoe tighter or slip around. Yeah. I was like, well, what stops me from maybe putting something on the outside bottom? I mean, I have more room here, and this can, to me, do more good than something going inside. So at the time, I took one pair of shoe to my shoe repair guy at the time, and I asked him, how much rubber or material can I put on the bottom of this shoe so I can still walk in it, and it's still wearable. He put like a 1/4 of an inch thick of rubber on the bottom of the shoe. I picked it up like a week later. I wore it that night, and I kid you not, I was amazed at how this little piece of rubber that he put under the shoe really changed the dynamic of the steps that I was taking in the shoe from when it didn't have the product on there.
Wow.
And I was taking my shoes 20 and 30 pair to him after that, so he can put extra rubber at the bottom, because it did make that much of a difference.
So you realized you can't put something in the shoe, but what made you think? I just can't imagine how you thought that far. So like literally think, and it's genius, because if you think about it, like what is it? You're offsetting the balance back onto the heel of the shoe. Is that
so what happens is it can tilt your foot and the shoe back slightly, and it'll take a lot of that pressure off the balls of the feet, and even in some instances it redistributes some of that pressure more evenly across the foot and putting more pressure on the heel as well. Normally when we wear high heels, it's over 75% of our body weight on the balls of our feet. Okay. So that's like one of the bigger issues. So now you have all this weight on the balls of your feet, which are going to make your toes hurt faster, the balls of your feet, and all of that. So that's where I come into play with Shoe Gummi, and it does take the pressure off. I feel like it makes me walk more confidently because when I wear heels, the best way that I can describe it is like a forward feeling. And it's like when you put the heels on and you're shifted this way. So with my product, now your weight is shifted back into a more comfortable stance.
That makes sense.
Yeah, instead of that forward feeling. And I feel like a lot of women wear heels and they're constantly, it's on like a tilt forward. And it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a small shoe collection. You know, I do one shoe at a time. I'll splurge like once every couple months. By the way, there was a shoe cam. You need a shoe cam because her shoes are so fire today.
Oh yeah. You have to start get a shoe cam for sure.
Yeah. Your shoes these are beautiful red boots, but so I went into the store the other day. I think I had seen like Saint Laurent or something. It was cute. These cute little shoes with the little S and on the front.
Oh my gosh.
And I tried those things on, and then things hurt so bad that I was like, yeah, these are fly, but man, like, if I go, because I'm doing this festival in New York, and so I was like, oh, I'll just wear this during the festival. I'm like, I would literally have to have them in my bag and just wear them while sitting. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm not spending, I think it was like
$900
I think
for that shoe.
Oh, you really? Yeah, I thought it was, but I was like, I'm not dropping that much for a pair of shoes that I can't even wear for like 3 seconds. And I've done that before where I've dropped that much and they collect dust in my closet because I'm like, I can't ever wear it again. And
so that particular shoe that you're talking about, a lot of ladies come to me complaining about that shoe in particular. And I literally just did a post about it.
I saw the comments on it too.
Yeah.
They were going in. Ain't nothing you can do to fix that shoe.
Yeah, like so many people complain about that shoe, and then like some people are like, well, why do you even pay that much? And the shoe is uncomfortable. I think with heels just in general, like the pain that we get from wearing the heels is the price of this beauty. But with my product, I help with that pretty much. Yeah. Someone else just did a post with that YSL shoe. Her shoe literally had dust in the shoe. You can see the dust in the video on the shoe, and she put the gummies on the bottom. And she did like a whole bunch of crazy stuff in the video, like doing the Megan Thee Stallion knees, or can I suave mente now with the gummies on the bottom. So like it was a really good video, but that shoe in particular is definitely a killer. Yeah, I think I want to start leaning towards like Fendi or something, because Fendi has some comfortable shoes. I think every brand can have some comfortable shoes. It's just like those certain ones are just really uncomfortable. Yeah. And a lot of women don't factor certain things also with heels. They just think going out the gate, I'm going to wear a 5-inch heel and I'm going to wear this all night and is this and that. No. It's a lot of factors when it comes to high heels. Do you have flat feet? Even the length of your legs as well. Like, do you normally walk in heels? Have you ever walked in a 5-inch heel, 4-inch heel, a 3-inch heel? It's just a lot of factors when it comes to high heels.
Wow. Yeah. I would not even think about those questions. I just go in, I'm like, well, today I want to look sexy for my husband. So I'm gonna look cool and figure out how to walk in them later. Yeah.
The instep, the height of the heel. I can go on and on about a pair of shoes and what can be more comfortable and what to stay away from. Like, do you like a pointed shoe, those Socates? You know what those are? No. The Christian Louboutins?
Oh yeah. You mean the ones that come to a point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever bother. I don't even bother.
Yeah. Some people buy. Some ladies buy my product and they think that shoe gummies help with the point of the shoe. And I'm like, no, baby. No, like I'm just trying to help with the pressure on the balls of your feet. But if you want to cram your feet in this point,
Yeah.
you got to deal with that all on your own.
Okay.
So yeah.
Now, in those cases, are they supposed to buy the shoes bigger so it doesn't go to the point?
I mean, you have to really know what size to buy that shoe in, because one, you don't want it flapping off if you buy it too big, but then you don't want it too tight because your feet are already crammed in that pointed style.
Now, do you see shoe gummies as the beginning of other, because there's so many pressure points. Like when I wear heels, I don't wear a lot of heels anymore, but when I wear heels, like there's, you know, the side, what is that, the corns? I don't know if I'm using the right terms, bunions or whatever. I don't know.
Okay,
you know, like this side right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So that can be the bunion.
Yeah, so like, are you going to start doing, because the gummies are like, I feel like the gummies are just the beginning, especially the way you talk. You're like a shoe
connoisseur.
Yeah, like you're
I'm all about my foot health, honestly. When my feet are good and I'm out and about, I'm mixing and mingling, I don't want to worry about my feet. I feel like if my feet hurt, and I think a lot of people who wear heels can contest for this, you're just not in the mood to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to talk. I'm going to just sit down over here till it's time to go. And that's not what I want to deal with when I'm out and I'm wearing my heels. Like, I want to wear them. I want to show them. I want to walk around. So.
Yeah. So kind of stepping back a little bit. So you take your 20 or 30 pairs of shoes and you start adding this rubber layer. This is the pre-gummy.
The pre-gummy.
At what point do you say, okay, I want to invest more time, energy, and money into actually making this brand?
Yeah. So I came up with Shoe Gummi, or the first idea of it, in 2009.
Geez, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't think to make it a consumer product until about, I would say maybe 6-7 years ago now.
Okay.
But having that moment or those thoughts, I just thought to myself, well, I know what the product does and I wear it. And probably at the time I had a few friends maybe going to get the rubber put on the bottom of their shoes, so they know how it worked. So
after knowing you, they got it.
Yeah.
So then now this isn't like you're selling it. They were just like, oh, what are you doing the last 30 hours? And you were like, Shoe Gummi. Well,
yeah.
You were like I'm taking it to this place. Okay.
They would complain about their shoes. And I would just tell them, well, send the shoe over here and they'll do this to it. And they would rave about it because they wouldn't be able to wear, maybe it was a shoe that they had wore for an hour, couldn't wear it past an hour. It was just insane, crazy. Put the gummy at the time, what it was, on the bottom, and they were able to wear the shoe the whole night.
Wow.
So it really made that much of a difference. And up until 6-7 years ago, I started to think, well, maybe I need to hone in on this, like, to make it a consumer product. Like, how do I do that? Because at the time, the shoe repair guy had to do it for me. So now I had to start thinking, all right, what do I have to do to make this a product that people can put on at home?
Yeah. So what was that next step like?
Well, first, before all of that, I found me a patent lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I found a patent lawyer and pretty much started the paperwork with him with filing my patent application. And what we had to do first was, I think, look into the U.S. database, the patent database, and do to look if anything on the market was like this. And I was already telling him, absolutely not, because I would be using it.
Yeah.
So before,
I love that.
Yeah. So before then, he was just like, we have to do it anyways. Then moving forward from that, we started my my patent application. And while that was getting done, I found a CAD designer. And a CAD designer is someone who can digitally make the product in the computer.
Okay.
And from there, we came up with like what the first gummy looked like. It looked like honestly, not what this is today. It looked like a little tadpole. Like I had a little a tail coming up the shoe, and then like as I started to do more research and develop the product, the tail went away, and then like the product got bigger and what it is now. So
wow. So for everyone, time frame wise, you start in 2009. You don't start actually making it into the brand until like 6-7 years ago. So we could see like this is a long journey. Now, were you like, would I say like losing a risky amount of money trying to invest in this thing, or were you like was it uncomfortable getting into the space? Was there a part of you that was like risk scared or risk confidence? Like where was it at?
Honestly, I did put a great deal of money into post launch. But that wasn't the scary part. The scary part was just it being a new product, and I knew how it worked and what it did. My friends knew, or some of them knew how it worked and what it did, but was the world going to respond to my product the way that I knew it? How can I say it? Were they going to respond to it the way that I think they should, if that makes sense?
And then you were also, I'm sure, like trying to figure out how do you market it, no?
Yeah, so then that was the thing also. Like, what do I do, or what do I say, or how do I market it? But I think just as time went on, it just became easier because it just became easy because it's part of my lifestyle. High heels is what I know. High heels is what I do. Like what people say, I eat, sleep, shit, whatever.
Yeah.
I eat, sleep, shit, high heels.
I could tell because you're like, you have to know how long the leg is and if your foot. So I'm curious. I have flat feet. Not that the whole world needs to know this, but what am I allowed to wear heels if I have?
So of course, you're allowed to wear heels. One of my sisters, she has flat feet. And she would wear high heels, but then she would always complain about they hurt or they already started hurting after an hour or so. But she was one of the first people to test the actual consumer-made product.
Okay.
And she raves about them. And with having flat feet, what happens is since you have less of an arch in your foot, the foot puts even more pressure on the balls of your feet.
Oh, snap.
So, yeah. So with my product and it alleviating some of that pressure, it does help you wear your high heels longer because it's taking some of that pressure off.
Okay. Yeah. Now with flat feet, does that cause your ankle to roll more? Would that make that more difficult?
No, I wouldn't say it would make it roll more. With high heels, just in general, we're putting more pressure on our knees, our ankles, and the bottoms of our feet.
Okay.
So
it sounds like for all y'all flat footers, y'all need this really bad.
Yeah, I do get a lot of customers who have flat feet. And they ask, will it help, and stuff like that. So it definitely does.
Where do people buy the actual product? Like if I want to go and buy 10 of them. And do we have to buy one per pair of shoe or
So it is one per pair of shoe. They aren't transferable or reusable, and that's for safety reasons. I mean, like we have a certain adhesive to stick to the bottom of the shoe. And if it's peeled up or that seal is broken, then you can't really reuse it and put it on another shoe. So it is one pair per shoe.
Okay. And then what is the price point of these?
So for one pair is $35. For two pair, like a bulk, is $65, and then for like a three pack or three pair is $90. And we also, this is black, and we have tan, and then we also just launched red for those ladies who have the Louboutins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, where do people buy them?
Online. So I have my own online e-commerce, and that's the only place where they can be purchased as of right now. So
are you looking to get distribution in retail?
I feel like once I get more
Notoriety or
more notoriety, more awareness of the brand,
Mhm.
then I do want to branch off and get into stores, because if someone's buying a shoe that day,
Yeah.
then it's even more of a thing to go into the store or that same store and be able to buy a pair of gummies to wear or put on that shoe that night.
Yeah.
instead
I
of-
would think because it's a nominal investment. So like if you go into the store, you're buying $1,000 pair of shoes, it makes sense to just. But in the case of, I guess for right now, I'm just gonna go online and just stock up. I'm
Yeah,
gonna stock
I
up.
got you. I got you.
You know, I'm gonna have to stock up.
I got you.
What an amazing journey that is. Now, do you want to just permanently stay in the shoe game? Have you thought about designing shoes?
You know what? Before this was even a thought, like I always thought, like, you know, I want to be an actress. I want to be a model. I love shoes. I want to be a shoe designer. So, being a shoe designer has always been in the back of my mind. But with having my product, it's something that's a reoccurring thought, if that makes sense, because I deal with this every day. I damn near wear it every day. But you know, just in general, foot health, adding on to the Shoe Gummi brand is something that I want to do as well. But I definitely want to get into designing shoes, high heels. It doesn't even have to be just high heels.
So for people that would look, and obviously not hearing this interview, because after hearing this interview, it doesn't sound like this journey was easy. What is a day in the life of you as an entrepreneur now that you've invented the product?
You know what? It has been easier now, I would say. So up until like a few months ago, I was processing orders. So at the top of the year, I was wanting to have more at the top of the year, I wanted to have like the brand be pushed with a lot of social media presence, with brand awareness, pushing that out so people know what the product is, how it works, and all that other stuff. And with being more vocal on TikTok, TikTok just took it and like spun it around, and I was getting orders like left and right. TikTok is like a whole nother ball game.
Wow.
So at one point I was processing over 3,000 orders just with this company at home by myself.
Wow. So you were definitely working like long, like 10-hour days, I would assume.
Yeah. Like I would have moments where, I'm processing and it's coming to the end, and then maybe I get a little break, and then I come back, it's like a few hundred more orders to like get, you know, rolling and all that other stuff. It was a blessing. It is a blessing for sure. So that was my day with like processing orders, emails, dealing with people's
like
customer service, even social media at a certain point. And then I brought in the girl who works for me now, which she has been like a blessing, because she picks up all my slack with I can't do it all.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to a certain point when you have a business, you can't do it all. And building and having the right team around you is definitely needed, because I feel like if it wasn't for her coming and stepping in place for me, I wouldn't be where I am right now, because I couldn't process orders and be on social media and run the page how it is, and look at emails and my own personal. So.
And then did you have to learn e-commerce too in addition? Like, when I say e-commerce, did you have to learn like the digital platform or the tech platform?
Yeah.
So you were like learning, working, and scaling, which is extremely tough. So, and then doing the marketing.
Yeah. At the time, I was getting quotes from like a lot of people to like build me a website and do all this other stuff, logo. And I just thought, you know what, maybe let me just take a week and let me just see how I can do it on my own. Wow. So I just sat back there through the website platform that I'm using, and I pretty much built my own website.
Wow, look at you.
So
I'm not even gonna lie, I would be afraid. But lately I've been curious. Like sometimes like even on dealing with the podcast, I'll say, oh, I'm curious what say Jared does or what Katie does. This is my crew. Shout outs to my crew. But I'm always curious like what their like I guess their perspective and what their work is like or what they see and what they come across.
yeah, it
And
can be very tedious.
yeah.
I mean, before even Shoe Gummi, I was building my brand Fancy Goods. I felt like this company was too stagnant at the time, and I just needed something like popping off, doing something, and I like started a lash brand, Fancy Goods. So I started with my web designing with that. So then when it finally came for me to launch Shoe Gummi, I already knew like the ins and outs of how to work all that back there with designing the website. I just knew, okay, what type of pictures do I need? What's the verbiage and what needs to be said to the customer and all this other type of stuff.
So I think I have like one last question. So when you're building these brands, how are you getting the money to pay for the brands? Are you raising capital? Are you getting business loans? Like how do you, or do you like save money and then like kind of like I'm trying to figure out like how do you go from like eating pickled eggs to like 2 brands?
So I would say either money that was saved, money I was making at the time, money that I was making from another business as well.
Like you probably rolled the money from the lash brand into the gummy, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't your first rodeo at like e-commerce?
No. It just as I built each brand, I knew what to do also and what not to do in each stage. Because with starting with certain things, I messed up with a lot. Messed up a lot of money. Knew that, damn, I didn't even have to do that then, and now I'm spending money on that, and then now it has to come here. So with each company, I knew, or I started to know, okay, we're going to wait to do that, or we're going to do this first, or this and that. So it is a learning experience just with having a company just in general. And you know what to do and what not to do. And
it's funny, I have a love-hate relationship with entrepreneurship because when you learn, it's like you take it on the chin. Like, I saw this clip, like, Lauren London had said, like, you get chin-checked in life. When you own a brand, like, there's nothing that chin-checks you more than losing a fat check on a mistake that you're like, damn, I should have did that. But I promise you ain't going to make that mistake twice.
I was literally just talking to a friend of mine about like a lot of mistakes that I made with developing Shoe Gummi at first. So when I first had my first prototype, I thought that was the end all be all. This is it. This is what we're going to market with. And with that prototype, I did lab testing. So I got to lab test the product. And what that consists of, they had a few ladies who wore the same type of heel with the gummy put on the bottom. And when they did the testing, the lab results showed exactly what I knew the product did with taking a lot of the pressure off the balls of the feet. But on the other back end, I failed the stability part of that lab testing. And I couldn't go to market with the product.
But did you already like press up a bunch of it or?
Thousands of them.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I was like, that's the end all be all. I did maybe like 5,000 pairs of these little gummies just thinking, this is it. This is what I'm going with. It was the wrong type of material because that material didn't stick with any type of adhesive I was trying to play with or get to work at the time. The product was faulty. It was too small. The shape was off and all this other type of stuff. So I had to go back to the drawing board and fix what was wrong with the product. And luckily, the guy who owned the lab testing facility, he gave me some pointers on what to do to make the product better. Because what it was doing was, it was rolling the ankle.
Okay.
So with how the product was and the women in the videos walking, you can see them walking and their ankles going out like that.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't go to market with a faulty product and possibly get a lawsuit or something. So
I'm sure that had to have been like kind of shattering for you.
yeah, because I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this lab testing and it's gonna be good. And in a few months, I'm gonna be on the shelves or I'm gonna be selling online. And it was just more of a slap in the face. And it was hard because I was like, yo, I know what this does. Why is it so hard to get this out? Because that wasn't the first hurdle. It was before that, it was my patent.
Oh, wow.
With getting my patent, it was 2 years before we even got seen by a patent examiner. And when the patent examiner looked at my product, they gave us obviousness rejections. And what those are, they're based off of things that are already in the database that do something with the bottom of the shoe. Mm-hmm. But it's not really like your product. So we had to go back and forth with her for like 6 months. Wow. And
they're paying out.
Yeah.
But you're fighting and you're not even quitting, because most people probably would have been like, oh, forget it.
Yeah, and I think maybe that was even almost 4 years into even starting just everything just in general. And at a certain point, when you're in so far with that, forget the money and certain things, it's just like my time, and I know what my product does. I know how it works. Why is it this hard? Mm-hmm. I just didn't understand, and I would have like moments where I would just break down and fuck up my whole week, honestly. Wow. Just thinking like, I don't understand, why is this not going to work? Why can't this patent just go through? I'm failing this over here. Like, is it ever going to happen? Like, I just felt I stopped so much in my life at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is going to be my A game. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm going with. And it was just not working out. And I just thought, what am I going to do if this doesn't go?
Wow. And that's a long journey, because we're in 2022.
Yeah.
2009. And 2009, was that the first date that you actually put it on the bottom of the shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for everybody that's listening, if you think about this, that's over 10 years mm-hmm. of back and forth, like basically climbing up the mountain, taking like 10 steps forward and then like falling a couple feet.
Yeah.
And then you got to keep your gas burning the entire time. That's nuts. And then again, goes back to like what a lot of people say, it's just not overnight. It's not overnight.
It's like, I would watch Shark Tank a lot, and you watch that stuff, and like some people are like, bam, they just hit it off overnight. Mm-hmm. Overnight success. Didn't really have to put anything into it. They started 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. They had their first prototype and did this and that. And I was like, how is it so simple for them? Mm-hmm. Like, why does this have to be so hard? And then somebody at the time was just telling me, sometimes great things take time. And I'm just like, yeah, I get that, but I want it now. Like, what about now? Like, I don't got time for that. But it honestly has made me who I am today. Mm-hmm. Because from those times where I just thought, I'm getting all this bad news, my whole week is messed up, I don't want to hear it, I have taken those moments and groomed myself into, okay, if I have a problem, how do I fix it? Instead of blowing up, being bratty about it. Yeah. Okay, what's the steps to fix it? It can't be fixed. How do we go around it? Mm-hmm. All right, push it to the side. What do we do mm-hmm. about it? And if I was the same person that I was back then, like having fits and headaches and
were you like crying a lot?
Crying a lot, like just boo-hoo. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't have the company that I have right now, being that person. Yeah. So my companies have groomed me into a better woman, a better entrepreneur, mm-hmm. to actually run a business how it should be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have so much appreciation for you, and I say it all the time, man. It's so easy to fall in love with people like on this show, mm-hmm. because it's just like hearing that journey is like, it's crazy. That That's a crazy journey. And
Yeah.
it's funny because you look at a product like Shoe Gummi and it's like this product that like literally saves and comforts you and helps you so much, and it's you have to think so far out of the box to get to it, but just to think of the journey of it.
It definitely has been a journey. It still is a journey, but even if I was on the outside looking in, you would look at this like, that took nothing to make.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What did you possibly need to do that, or this or whatever? And it took a lot of research, development, time, tears, fallouts on the ground, but
I have to ask though, like, do you remember two memories I would like to just know, like, what was going on, like, was like when you got your patent approved and officially passed lab testing, and then your first sale, like your first sale of somebody you did not know, like, ding ding, it was like, ah.
So when my patent got approved, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. I felt like, okay, that's not it, but it's going in the right direction. Like I feel like that push, that's something that more that I felt like I needed to give me like some reassurance that this is gonna work.
Okay.
And then that first sale, I honestly, when I pushed that button to open sales, I had my phone on, and I was recording myself. And I kid you not, as like sales started to come in, I was freaking out. I was bawling, crying. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, what am I selling? Like, are they gonna like it? Like, what is gonna happen? Like, are they gonna know what to do? Are they gonna put it on correctly? Like, what are they gonna say about it? I'm like literally freaking out because it's not like a lip gloss. Like, lip gloss is done like 1,000 million times. Somebody buys a lip gloss, they either like the color, they put it on, you know. But this is something that it hasn't been done. It's the first of its kind, and I don't know. I was freaking out.
It's crazy that you thought after you did all these years of like research and everything that you still had that little bit of like possible self-doubt, like, is it, you know? We talked about it before, like imposter syndrome with like the CEO of Revolt. He had mentioned that he's like, there's this thing called imposter syndrome, because I'm like, yo, sometimes I can make it to the top, but then I feel like, damn, are they gonna realize who I really am or something, you know? Like, am I good enough to be here, or you know?
I definitely have my instances where I feel that way, because just in general, my product is still newer on the market. So I am scaling pretty fast, but it's also like that voice in the back of my head, like, are we really gonna do this? Like, is this really like how we're gonna go? Like, is it really gonna work? Is it gonna be like a big boom in sales? Is it gonna dwindle down? Is it gonna be a fad for something? But one thing that always reassures me is the reviews that I get from like a lot of my customers, and the thank yous that I get from them, or how this one lady in particular, it always sticks out in my mind. She had foot or ankle surgery or something, and she had to get pins in her ankle, and she was not able to wear high heels after doing that, and she purchased the product and she was able to wear high heels again with wearing my product on the bottom of her shoes.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I know for a fact I'm getting me some pairs, because I got some shoes.
I got you.
I got some shoes that have a nice layer of dust on them. Nice layer, and it's always expensive shoes. It's never like my cheap shoes. It's like,
that's the thing.
It's so sad.
A lot of ladies hit me with that, and I'm like, we buy these shoes, whether they're cheap or expensive or whatever, and we want to wear them. We want to look good in them. So if my product is giving you an extra hour, like, girl, put them shoes on.
Hell yeah.
Even
it's totally worth the investment.
I always tell Asia, like when we're going out or something, and she's like, well, should I bring this or should I wear that? I'm like, girl, you better wear that stuff. It's just in the closet. Put that stuff on.
Yeah.
I mean, you buy it to wear it. You want to look good.
That's true. Yeah. I'm one of those people, I'll buy a product and first of all, it'll be in my house like less than 10 minutes. I'll be like, let's change it to that, you know? And then I like destroy it, you know, because I'll rock it until it's like dead. And then I'm like, as the new stuff come in, I don't know.
You gotta wear it all.
Well, thank you so much for coming and teaching me a dish that I promise you, I assure you, Miss Jackson.
You're not gonna eat it again?
I will never, ever. You won't even see me nibble on that thing. And I'm gonna make everybody in the squad try this.
Yeah, y'all gotta try one.
Y'all gotta try one because
I'm gonna eat another one before I leave.
This thing is absolutely like, I'm gonna just say you have to have acquired taste. And you know what? You have great taste, clearly. Just in the food area.
You know, say I don't got great taste in food.
I don't know, man. I mean, I hope to never ever be so down and out, or just even in a vicinity where pickled eggs is like my only option, because it's just I think everything else is great. Just one and done. I assure you, you will never.
You didn't even finish that one.
I can't. I just want to describe for all y'all listeners, it's like a hard egg. It tastes vinegary, which the taste I can get past. It's the texture and I'm just not rocking it. Like, I'm good. But I'm going to rock some shoe gummies. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for your time. Shout out to all our listeners. Definitely check out. Where can we check you out, follow up with you, and like keep up with you?
So you can check me out on Instagram as Miss Jackson. That's MISS Jackson. In my bio is pretty much all my companies tag: Shoe Gummi, Fancy Goods, Chic Beauty, and a website as well. On TikTok, Miss Jackson 007.
Okay.
So you can catch me there as well. And yeah.
All right, perfect. Peace out, y'all.
My bro.